For half a decade, Florida was the place everyone was moving to. Between April 2020 and July 2025, the state added more than 1.9 million people, the largest population increase of any state except Texas. Moving trucks lined I-95. Home prices doubled in some zip codes. Politicians bragged about the great Florida migration. But right now, in 2026, that story is quietly reversing in some of the state's biggest, most famous counties. The latest Census Bureau numbers show that in 2025 alone, Miami-Dade lost nearly 73,000 residents to other counties and states. Broward is bleeding people too. So is Orange County, home to Orlando. Even Pinellas County on the Gulf Coast posted the second largest population loss of any county in the entire United States last year, behind only Los Angeles. Meanwhile, 1 hour inland, counties most Americans have never heard of are exploding. So today, we're counting down the 10 Florida counties losing the most residents right now, why people are leaving, and exactly where they're going instead. We're counting down from 10 to 1, so stay with us, because the biggest exodus in the state might not be the one you're expecting. Before we get into the list, here's the context you need. Florida's net migration dropped to about 201,000 residents in 2025, down from nearly 599,000 at the 2022 peak. That's a two-thirds collapse in just 3 years. Even during the peak migration years, Miami-Dade and Broward counties were already losing residents to domestic outmigration. It's just that a flood of international arrivals was masking the outflow. By 2025, that cushion ran out. Nationally, the 50 counties with 1 million or more residents lost a combined 637,634 people to domestic migration in the most recent year of data. Florida's largest, priciest counties are now a textbook example of that trend. And driving almost all of it is one word: cost. Florida's average home insurance premium hit $8,292 in 2025, an 18% jump over the prior year. And Floridians now pay 181% more for home insurance than the national average. Since 2020, Florida premiums have risen 49.5%, while inflation rose 27.9%. That gap is pushing people out of the coast and into the interior. If you're new here, hit subscribe and turn on notifications. We break down migration, housing, and cost of living data across Florida regularly. And if you're thinking about where to move next, you'll want to see the counties we cover next. Okay, let's start the countdown. Number 10 is Alachua County, home to Gainesville and the University of Florida. Between July 2024 and July 2025, Alachua lost 1,016 residents to domestic migration alone. It's the smallest loss on our list, but it's notable because Alachua isn't a coastal county at all. No hurricane risk, no rising seas. This is a university and government-anchored inland market, which tells us something important. This isn't purely a coastal flight story anymore. The county's median home price fell nearly $14,750 over that same year, from $354,725 down to $339,975. A sign that as people left, the local housing market cooled with them. Number 9 is Leon County, home to Tallahassee, the state capital. Leon lost 1,213 residents to domestic migration between mid-2024 and mid-2025. What makes Leon strange is that while people were leaving, home prices weren't falling. They were climbing. The median home price actually rose more than $32,000 in a single year, from $307,475 to $339,850. That combination, population loss paired with rising prices, is a warning sign for affordability in a market that used to be one of Florida's cheapest. Number 8 takes us to the Florida Keys, Monroe County. Monroe lost 1,279 residents to domestic migration in the latest year of data. And this is where the climate math starts to bite. Monroe's projected flooding by 2050 includes at least one flood of 2 feet or more every single year, with local sea levels expected to rise 2.3 feet by 2100. And yet somehow, this is already the most expensive county on our entire list. The median home price in Monroe sits at $1,288,750, nearly 4 times the state average. People are leaving one of the most expensive, most flood-exposed places in America, and that's exactly the profile researchers point to when they talk about climate abandonment areas. Places where population is falling specifically because of mounting flood risk. Number 7 is Collier County, home to Naples, long considered one of the wealthiest, most desirable Gulf Coast addresses in the country. Collier lost 1,931 residents to domestic migration in the past year, and the price correction here is the sharpest on our entire list. The median home price dropped a full $51,000 in 12 months, from $768,000 down to $717,000. Collier also faces at least one 2.2-foot flood per year by 2050, with local seas projected to rise 2.3 feet by century's end. Even luxury waterfront living has a breaking point, and in Naples, that breaking point appears to be arriving. Number 6 is Pinellas County, St. Petersburg, and Clearwater. And this entry is different from the others because it isn't really about affordability. It's about 2 storms. Hurricanes Helene and Milton tore through Florida's Gulf Coast in the fall of 2024, causing tens of billions of dollars in damage and driving residents out of Pinellas specifically. Pinellas lost almost 12,000 total residents in the latest count, the second highest loss of any county in the entire United States, trailing only Los Angeles. Beyond the storms, Pinellas already relies on migration for any growth at all because deaths outpace births there more than in any other American county. Add domestic migration losses of 2,337 people in a single year, plus flooding projections of at least 2.5 feet annually by 2050, and you get a county fighting demographic decline and storm recovery at the same time. Local officials say rebuilding here should be faster than in more rural counties. But for now, Pinellas is bleeding people faster than almost anywhere else in America. Number 5, Palm Beach County. Palm Beach lost 9,203 residents to domestic migration in the latest year, the first county on our list to cross into 5-figure territory. This is a county long associated with wealth and second homes, but even here, the median home price fell $24,000, from $519,000 to $495,000. Flooding projections show at least a 2-foot event annually by 2050. Earlier census data showed more than 7,500 Palm Beach residents left in a single prior year alone. This is not a one-year blip. It's a pattern that's been building for several cycles. Number 4 is Hillsborough County, Tampa. Hillsborough lost 11,953 residents to domestic migration in the past year. And what's striking is that Tampa was supposed to be one of the migration boom's biggest winners. Hillsborough and Pinellas both benefited from elevated migration in the early 2020s. And both have now flipped into net domestic outmigration. Home prices here actually rose slightly, up about $9,150 to $449,000, meaning it isn't affordability alone pushing people out. It's the region's overall cost structure, from insurance to property taxes, catching up with a decade of rapid growth. Hillsborough also faces flooding projections of at least 2.5 feet annually by 2050, tying it with Pinellas for the highest flood exposure on this list. Number 3, Orange County, home to Orlando and the theme park corridor. Orange lost 15,620 residents to domestic migration in the most recent year, more than the population of some entire small towns. Orange County lost population through domestic outmigration in most recent years, with international arrivals no longer enough to offset the outflow by 2025. The median home price fell nearly $13,750 from $455,000 to $441,250. Orlando's economy leans heavily on tourism and service sector jobs, and as housing costs rose faster than wages in that sector, workers appear to be relocating to cheaper counties nearby rather than leaving the region altogether. Number 2 is Broward County, Fort Lauderdale. And this is where the losses start to look historic. Broward's population change from domestic migration was negative by about 29,500 people in the most recent year, and the county's overall population actually shrank by 372 residents. A small number, but a symbolic one, because Broward hasn't been used to shrinking. International migration added nearly 24,900 people to Broward in the same period, but it wasn't enough to offset the domestic exodus. Home prices fell just over $20,000, down to $408,275, and flooding models show at least a 2-foot event annually by 2050. A previous year's data was even starker. More than 26,000 residents left Broward in a single 12-month stretch, showing this isn't new. It's accelerating. And number 1, by a wide margin, is Miami-Dade County, the most populous county in Florida and the 7th largest in the entire United States. Miami-Dade lost 29,517 residents to domestic migration in the most recent year alone, nearly 10 times the loss of our number 10 county. Zoom out, and the number gets even bigger. Across all of 2025, Miami-Dade lost close to 73,000 residents to domestic outmigration, the largest such loss in the state's history. In total population terms, Miami-Dade fell from 2,812,144 to 2,802,029. A drop of just over 10,000 people, the third largest numeric population decline of any county in the entire country, trailing only Los Angeles and Pinellas. Home prices in Miami-Dade fell the most of any county on our list in dollar terms, $45,000 in a single year, from $645,000 down to $600,000. Flooding projections show at least a 1.9-foot event annually by 2050, with local sea levels expected to rise 2.3 feet by the end of the century. Census data attributes much of the recent shrinkage specifically to a decline in international migration, the very engine that had kept Miami-Dade growing for years even as domestic residents quietly filed out the back door. Longtime residents cite the same complaints again and again: brutal traffic, limited public transportation, and a cost of living that has outpaced local wages for years. So if people are leaving Miami-Dade, Broward, Orange, Hillsborough, Pinellas, Palm Beach, Collier, Monroe, Leon, and Alachua, where exactly are they landing? The data is remarkably consistent. Polk, Pasco, and Marion counties remained Florida's strongest destinations for domestic movers in 2025, and researchers link that shift directly to rising housing costs in the state's largest urban counties. Polk County has ranked in the top 5 counties in the entire United States for domestic in-migration every single year since 2021, and Pasco recorded Florida's second highest migration gains in 2025. Here's the twist. These aren't out-of-state transplants. During the 2021 through 2023 migration surge, about 59% of domestic newcomers to Polk and Pasco counties came from other counties within Florida itself, meaning much of this exodus isn't people fleeing the state. It's Floridians fleeing other parts of Florida. Areas with a lower cost of living, Polk, Pasco, and Osceola, are actively drawing residents away from pricier regions like Miami-Dade and Broward. And younger, more budget-conscious millennials and Gen Zers are leading that particular shift. Meanwhile, retirees and older residents are increasingly choosing Lee, Sarasota, and Volusia counties instead. And Sumter County, home to the Village Ostuan, has an average newcomer, age of 60, and a 70% homeownership rate, cementing its reputation as the state's premier retirement magnet. Elsewhere, St. Johns and St. Lucie counties are also capturing strong inflows from out-of-state movers. And separate census figures show St. Johns County led the entire state in percentage population growth between 2024 and 2025 at 3.9%. So here's the pattern underneath all 10 counties on this list. It isn't that people are giving up on Florida. The state still added over 200,000 new residents in 2025. What's actually happening is an internal reshuffling, a slow-motion migration away from Florida's most expensive, most storm-exposed, most flood-prone counties, and toward inland, mid-sized communities where a home costs less and an insurance bill doesn't double overnight. Miami-Dade, Broward, and Pinellas built Florida's reputation over the last 2 decades. Polk, Pasco, and Marion may be the counties that define its next one. If current trends hold, expect this list to look very different by the time next year's numbers come out. And expect the counties gaining residents right now to be the ones facing the exact same pressures in 5 years. That's the countdown. Thanks for sticking with us through all 10 counties. If this saved you some research or changed how you're thinking about a move, do us a favor and hit subscribe. And drop a comment telling us which county surprised you most. We've got more of these breakdowns coming regularly. So we'll see you in the next one. Take care.